So I guess you outlined all that great. Is that repeatable? Is that something that they can do on maybe not a regular basis, but are there takeaways that work? Because there are certain situations in sports where it's like, well, that was a one-off situation.
Yeah.
This one, it seems like in the second half, a lot of things changed for this team. So how do you gauge that and the lessons you can learn from it?
Yeah, I think that there has to be a balance of understanding the anomaly side of it. You're just not going to shoot 60%. You're not going to make 8 3-pointers in a
Right.
half. That's just can it happen? Sure, this team has demonstrated that it can. But the element that is repeatable, and Chris Holtman, Ohio State's head coach, said afterwards that he thought the game turned on 50-50 balls and rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Penn State can control that. Not saying Penn State's going to win a lot of rebounding battles. They're not. This is a team that it is understood that they have issues there in terms of their size. The fact that Demetrius Lilly wasn't available for that game. Fave Ire has not been available at all this season. So you're down 2 big men. You've got Leo O'Boyle moonlighting as a 5 right now. That's a jam that can get better based on availability. Demetrius Lilly should be back. I believe he had the flu for that game on Saturday. So you're gonna get these guys back where you can start competing rebounding, but it's still not going to be something that's very favorable. But okay, you can scrap, you can win some of those rebounding battles. You can get contributions in 3-point shooting, which has not been consistent this year, has not been present until the last couple of games. Leo O'Boyle has to make threes. That's why he's in the game.
Yeah.
Zach Hicks has to make threes. Puff Johnson has to make threes. DeMarco Dunn has to make threes. Jameel Brown, when he comes back, have to make threes. All of those guys we talked about this at the beginning of the season. They are a huge part of the equation to what Penn State wants to do offensively. And they got it to the extreme on Saturday. You got that extreme of Ace Baldwin coming up clutch, making a huge shot late in the game in the last minute. Yeah, those are all great things. But even a reversion to the mean is better than what they had been getting earlier this season.
Yeah. Where do you want to go with our next clip? Do you want to do which one of these?
Yeah,
you want me to log up?
Just the Leo O'Boyle clip from Mike Rhoades talking about how this is what he had expected from Leo. But it's crucial. It is crucial to get those contributions from those guys in particular.
Well, I was expecting Leo to shoot like that all year long because he's an excellent shooter. I think the guys are really doing a good job of finding him better too. So he's moving better. We're moving around in different positions. He's finding his niche, and guys are looking for him. And the other thing about Leo, he doesn't come across it, but he's a super confident guy. Not cocky, but confident. He knows who he is, and he's good with who he is. And he battles on one end. He's not afraid to throw his body in the way, as you see. He's always banged up, but he could really shoot it, and he's confident in himself. And the DeMarco, I think DeMarco's going to continue to be a really good player for us. He just has to continue to put himself out there and get better and better. And
is Leo O'Boyle going to make 4 or 5 3-pointers every game? No, probably not. Can he give you 2 of 5? Can he give you 3 of 5? If he does, that's the difference in games at times this season. Zach Hicks shooting just a little bit better percentages from 3. Those things happening opens up a decent amount of options, and it overcomes weaknesses, right? It allows them to get away with some things that they don't do well. And so you've got to be able to find that balance. And while I'm saying that, Penn State is not passing the ball enough.
I was just going to say, like, what's on the other side of that? Because the you didn't do it your normal way, which I love, which is the Nate Bauer, however, turn, where we get to what's the second half of this. So what's the second half of this?
I mean, the whole thing with Penn State basketball right now is just, it's like an argument with myself over whether or not they're good or not. And there's a bunch of reasons why they're not, right? The ISO ball is a big reason why they are being played to not pass, and so they're not passing. And so you have some players that are excellent one-on-one basketball players and can score and create for themselves. That's great. Kanye Clary, chief among them. But Mike Rhoades knows it bears itself out in the analytics that moving the ball, getting the ball paint touches, right? He talks about it. It's not paint shots. It's not getting just exclusively shots on layups or to Qudus Wahab. It's about getting the ball, getting that action going.
Right.
Penn State had 11 assists on 31 makes the other night. Ohio State had 21 assists off of their 27 makes, right? That is a drastic difference. You're not necessarily going to get to Ohio State's level in that percentage, but better than 30%, right? They are absolutely expecting better than 30% on, or 33%, I should say, on their makes in terms of assists. So that's something that still has to be worked on. Obviously, rebounding still has to be worked on. But, however, the intangibles, right? The intangibles of what this team is made of, where the lack of unity, the lack of shared history, the lack of having that team building, caring about one another element that absolutely was clearly a part of that losing streak, that 5-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe not. Maybe there's an avenue for them to care about each other, to show some grit, to have some spirit. I mean, I feel silly talking about it. It's a very sports writery thing to fixate on, but also it matters. It does. It comes into play.
We're in the beginning part of the movie where the star basketball player is frustrated with the team, and the team is frustrated with him, and they have to have their come together moment at some point. I guess I'm curious about this because you've pointed this out, that this is not a cohesive unit. There has been some finger pointing based on the things that Mike Rhoades has said and what you've been talking about here. This team was never going to be a cohesive unit in terms of, they have, like, as you pointed out, this whole thing was put together in a couple of months. But from the team building perspective of guys getting to know each other, guys bonding in the off season when they all came together, was there enough time for that? And are you surprised that didn't happen before the season started, where you could kind of get these guys on the same page from a personal level so the basketball stuff can work itself out? Because it sounds like, from what you're describing, there's both of those things have to get worked out right now. Or am I reading too much into that?
No, I think that it is a situation where they tried as hard as they could to get all those guys on the same page. They spent a ton of time together. They all liked each other. It was nothing but good vibes coming out of the program over the summer and into the early fall. But I there's something missing from the summer and the fall. Do you know what it is? Games. Losing. Right? That's harder.
Adversity.
That's harder than playing video games with each other and grilling out and going to the pool. That it is a much more difficult set of circumstances for a team to get through. And so once that hit, the response wasn't great. Doesn't mean that it's going to not be great moving forward.
Right.
And the win on Saturday doesn't mean that it is going to be great. Right. This is to be written. And so I want you to play this Ace Baldwin clip here, because the way that they treated it, right, in terms of rebounding and how they reacted and the grit and the toughness and those different things is very matter of fact, right? Is like, of course, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
They didn't down in Florida. And because they didn't, they found themselves in a slide that they had to work themselves out of.
And we ain't want to go down like that. Like, we're not that type of team that just get punched in the mouth. So I feel like Like, we just had to go out there and punch them in the mouth. So
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely undersized. Me personally, playing the center. So I think we all just have to go out there and just hit somebody, whether it's your man or somebody else's helping box out. Because at the end of the day, we could create turnovers, but if we can't box out on the defensive end, that's going to really hurt us.
Hey, it's T. Frank. If you enjoyed that conversation about the new era of Penn State basketball under Mike Rhoades, we've got a weekly show. The Penn State Hoops Show here on the Blue White Illustrated YouTube channel. You can check out the full thing at bluewhiteillustrated.com. The link is in the description of the video.